It's your boy Aries here. Listen, man, before I say what I'm about to say, let me just say, when I get passionate, like most people, about things, I realize, and because I'm an Aries zodiac sign, and I'm a New York motherfucker, and I'm an alpha male, I can get aggressive and sometimes lose myself in my own passion and let my words run away with me. But this to me is very important, so I'm going to try the best I can to take a deep breath and handle this as intelligently and as eloquently as I can. Because I do possess the skills to do that and be that too. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Brother Islam, again, for doing our podcast, Spears and Steinberg, along with my podcast partner, Andy Steinberg, and the beautiful Erica Lachey. I have nothing but love and respect for Brother Islam. As I said to him at the end of it, I want him on our podcast again, and we're going to shoot for that for November to discuss other things. Namely religion and Barack Obama, and maybe some other things that, may affect the black community, and certainly affect me. And I hope that, and I would agree in assuming that he is now my friend, and I am his friend. So it wasn't just great dialogue that came out of that. I think we spawned a friendship. That being said, he's very eloquent, very smooth, highly intelligent, and the man knows his shit. And while he said a lot of things that I totally understand, while he opened my eyes and my mind to a lot of things, I don't necessarily know that I 100% agree with him on everything. And the key part in that right now is that I have the right to do that. It doesn't make me any less of anything for exercising my right to disagree. But one of the things we said at the very top of the podcast that I think went over a lot of people's heads is that this was not about some sort of warfare. This was not a pay-per-view event. This was not about me versus him or him versus us. This was not a pay-per-view event. This was not about me versus him or him versus us. This was not about tribalism, his group, his fans versus my group, my fans, his beliefs versus my beliefs. It was a conversation about something that was very necessary that we need to have because of all of this confusion and all of this noise coming from both sides of people who claim to be qualified, licensed experts. Whether or not you agree with me or disagree with me is neither here nor there. We had the conversation. And the part that I find funny is that in the beginning, when I wasn't open to hearing another point of view by so many of my own people, I was called a sheep, a coon, caping for white people, my massa, the white man, stupid nigga, fearful, shook, and all this other shit. And I said to myself, okay, whether or not I got called those things or not, let me hear another perspective. So I got shamed and was told, oh, he's one of these celebrities that are getting paid to push the jab, yada, 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 yada. So I said, you know what, let me have the conversation. And I want to give a shout out to all the people, because there were a lot of people who once it was realized that the conversation was going to be had, and after the conversation was had, hit me up, gave me a lot of love, a lot of respect, said thank you for having the conversation. It was a much needed dialogue. It was a great conversation. They kept it respectful. So hats off to y'all. And I got nothing but love for y'all. Now I want to talk about the hypocrites. Now I want to talk about how this interview has exposed a lot of y'all for not only being hypocrites, but being highly unintelligent and contradictory. Because it's like black people, I feel like sometimes we are our own worst enemy. We do more harm to each other than other people do to us. Even though historically we know what the deal is, but we're at fault too. Because for all of the black people that are hitting me up in my DMs, are hitting me up on my Instagram pages, who were shaming me because I wouldn't have the conversation. Now I have the conversation, but because I still don't agree with certain things, or I brought up certain points playing devil's advocate, now I'm reading my timeline, and now again, shut the fuck up, nigga, you stupid motherfucker, it was good that Corey and that nigga Zoe put hands on you, you still caping for white people in your massa, you getting paid to push the jab. Listen, man, and what's so crazy to me, here's the irony. Y'all are the same ones that'll talk about black unity, black brotherhood, black intelligence. Am I my brother's keeper? Black people doing better as a community. If we didn't have the conversation, how does that help the community? It helps the community to have the conversation, whether we agree or disagree. And again, I have the right to disagree. But for all of y'all claiming such black pride and unity, and even Brother Islam said himself, he don't condone that shit. Because y'all are hypocrites. Y'all are making this tribal. I read one word, dude, with, yeah, he bodied that nigga. Is that what you think this was about? Him bodying me? Like we wrestlers? This was a dialogue. Turn the fucking volume down. I know a lot of y'all got an erection for Brother Islam. And I don't mean that in any way for Brother Islam to take that as some sort of a slight. We all have our loyal fan base. We all have our congregation. We all have our loyal fans and listeners who will go to war for us. But this is not what that was about. It's not about a war. It's not about him versus me. But on one side, y'all preaching brotherhood and unity and intellectual, cohesive conversation. But the minute you don't hear what you like, or the minute I still question, now I'm a nigga that needs to shut the fuck up. I'm a dumb motherfucker. That's why Zoe put them hands on me and all the insults and all the unnecessary rhetoric, which shows me that a lot of you niggas, you come from an unintelligent place. Get out the shallow end of the pool. You're going to stay in the ghetto and you're going to stay in the streets because if you're not intelligent enough and eloquent enough to realize that what we were doing, the dialogue we were having was much needed and much necessary, and you can't view your opposition to me, your opposition and your views to me without all that unnecessary shit, which is highly unnecessary, well, then that shows me who I'm playing with. That shows me y'all's level of intelligence. You wanna respond to me like schoolyard bullies and niggas in the streets and niggas in the projects. Well, then that shows me you're not willing to grow. Mentally, you're incapable of growing. You should be able to express your thoughts to me with all that unnecessary bullshit. Telling me to shut the fuck up. This is called social media. It's an open forum for expression. I'm allowed to express. I'm allowed to agree and disagree, as are you. But the fact that you can't do it eloquently and intelligently without all that other shit and making this about tribalism shows where you at. Some of y'all are playing checkers. I'm playing chess. Get out the shallow end of the pool. Because if you're a fan of Brother Islam, if you're a real fan, if you stand behind your words, then what makes you think Brother Islam would condone that kind of behavior? What makes you think Brother Islam would condone that kind of verbiage, that kind of rhetoric? Y'all are the same ones that saw him in person, would pat him on his back, high-five him, and be happy that he's so intellectual, he's so eloquent, he's so able to present himself the way that he does, with facts. You would be proud of him for that because he stands for something in terms of how he makes us look as people, image-wise, along with the intelligence. But you mean to tell me you'll high-five him, you'll slap his back, and you'll praise him and do all that, and you assume that he would support what you're doing? That kind of behavior towards another black man? That kind of rhetoric? That type of verbiage? He would support that? Come on, man. Grow the fuck up. Again, big shout out to all the people who gave me love and respect, even though he and I agreed to disagree on certain things. But again, to the people who want to respond to me in regards to that interview, hey man, keep it respectful. I ain't got to be the nigga to shut the fuck up. The Zoe situation ain't got shit to do with this. But y'all immaturely want to tie that together because that's all y'all got. That's the only ammo y'all got. When have I ever caped for white folks? Again, if you listen to my podcast, if you know anything about me, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Ain't nobody paying me to promote the vaccine. I took it because that was my choice, because I felt that's what I needed to do. And I stand behind that. But I'm also open to conversation. And Brother Islam said a lot of things that, shed some light, made me think, made me take a step back. But I don't agree with him about everything. And I should have that right. That doesn't make me any less intelligent. Ain't nobody got no masses. Ain't nobody getting paid to push nothing. Knock it the fuck off and grow the fuck up. And I challenge you, listen to my podcast from episode 1 and work your way up. If you read the book and understand the context and not just pick out the pages that work for you, you'll know who the fuck I am and what the fuck I stand for. DM me for the link to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. Much love to Brother Islam, Erica Lachey. I look forward to having Brother Islam back in November so we can discuss some other topics.